Hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in to our Resilient Youth in Agriculture webinar. Today we're going to be discussing sort of some IAC youth programming updates and check in with some of our NIFSA board members we have here today. This webinar is also just the initial kickoff to our professional development month for August. As we all know, everybody's going back to school, so we just really wanted that professional development theme going. Okay, so let's just start off with some introductions. I'll go first. So my name is Azalea Yazi. I'm the Leadership Development Specialist for IAC, and I am Blackfeet and Navajo. I currently live in San Diego, California, and I am the Pacific representative on the NIFSA Board of Directors. And basically, my job entails to find agriculture opportunities for youth and create regional summits that really focus on youth engagement in agriculture. And I've been involved with the IAC since about 2016. So, and then we'll go on with Mackenzie.
My name is Mackenzie Martinez. I'm the NIFSA Vice Chair and Eastern Representative on the board. I'm Choctaw and Apache, and I'm from Louisiana, but right now I'm based out of Oklahoma. So really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
And I am Chateau Pierman. I currently am the Finance and Operations Intern for the Intertribal Ag Council. I am Lakota from the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. I currently live in Eagle Butte, South Dakota, where, like on the Cheyenne River Reservation. I am the NIFSA treasurer, and then I represent the Great Plains region for NIFSA as well.
Hi, I'm Jessica Leading Fox. I'm enrolled Pawnee. I'm a senior at Haskell Indian Nations University. I'm the Southern Plains representative for the NIFSA board, and I'm a seed keeper.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. And so now we're going to dive into what our year of 2019 really looked like for our IAC youth programming. So we had a total of 7 regional summits, which include the Great Lakes, Southwest, Northwest, Eastern Oklahoma, Eastern Pacific, and Western. And all of these summits put together reached for about an estimate of 150 youth, representing 70 tribes nationally. In 2017, we also had about 17 outreach events, so that really included FFA conventions, visiting with Indian boarding schools and universities, having that direct tribal outreach as well, and presenting at other conferences that we might have sponsored or hosted. And then this picture on this slide is actually of the Great Lakes Youth Summit we had last April in 2019. This summit really had a primary focus on traditional foods, and these got a lot of hands-on experience working with all sorts of indigenous chefs and preparing the meals for the actual summit. So that was a really unique type of summit. Slide. So as we come into the year of 2020, I'm just going to give some updates for some of the announcements that we made these past couple months. So obviously during COVID, we had to readjust our programming and really switch to everything virtually. So as it was announced a couple weeks ago, we had the Native Youth Food Sovereignty COVID-19 Summit, and those results of the summit really brought a lot of valuable information that'll help our programming get a better understanding of what the youth in their communities are really going through during this COVID time, and hopefully create some more tools that we can use for youth to stay connected during quarantine and such. So right now we're really just in the process of making more interactive virtual materials, such as like this webinar and other possible Zoom meetings for all youth across Indian country. And we also had the youth, or even though that this survey was discontinued on July 12th, we're still accepting feedback. So we're not doing the weekly winners anymore, but if you do want to receive a free t-shirt, you can still fill out the survey just to give more feedback on what you want to see this coming year. So, and then another update on a previous announcement is the winners for the IEC Leadership Development Programming Youth Contest. So that contest was, they answered an initial question of how giving feedback of like their different food sources within their community and how that's being affected during COVID. So we had 3 winners, which was Abner Locklear, Julian Locklear, and then Lucas Humboldt, who will be all getting their selected prizes in the mail soon, hopefully. And then we will also be continuing our newly developed IEC book club, which I know some of the youth in our programming is involved in, who will be having their very first meeting next week. So that's also really exciting. We're currently reading the book Indian Givers, so I need to catch up on some of my reading. But and then there was also the recent announcement on our Facebook of the 24 IEC Bob Miller Memorial Scholarship recipients. So you can look on our Facebook to see those announcements as well. Congratulations to all of the scholarship recipients. We look forward to you all having a good academic year. And then more for our 2020 announcements. We hope to create more youth webinars and Zoom meetings, like I said before, and surveys for youth to stay connected and just learn during this pandemic, really. So in the process of that, we're creating a questionnaire for the new and upcoming IEC programming patch program, where youth will be really just social media ambassadors, promoting IEC on their social media and keeping a good, clean social media. And then in return, we're thinking of doing sponsorships in like rodeo or 4-H fees and stuff like that. So we'll be posting that survey that will ask for feedback on the new specific program, just to see what everybody else thinks about it. And then, like I mentioned before, August is really our professional development month. So the whole month will have a focus on all topics that's going to involve professional development and youth ag opportunities, possibly getting some new podcasts going featuring some of our NIFSA board members and such. And then we also had the announcement of the IEC virtual annual conference. So everything's being transitioned to being virtual in December. So the year will be a little different, but the components will pretty much be the same, and just having everybody come together and learn about agriculture and staying connected. And then as we transition to our NIFSA board members, so in case for anybody who doesn't know, NIFSA is our Native Youth Food Sovereignty Alliance Board of Directors, and NIFSA really mirrors the IEC Executive Board of Directors, where they have 12 representatives in for each BIA region to represent the youth within their area. Right now we have current positions that are open, which is Alaska and Southwest. I believe we got a couple applications for Alaska, but we're still looking to push that out more for the Southwest to get that position filled. And NIFSA's mission is really to serve, to educate, and empower Indigenous youth to be agriculture innovators for generations to come. So just really serving to be a leader within their region to hopefully inspire other youth to step up and be leaders as well. And NIFSA's current values are culture, unity, and resiliency, which I believe should be everybody's values and such. So with all that being said, I'm going to pass it off to Jessica Leading Fox, who's our NIFSA Southern Plains representative, to give us an insight on what she's been up to in her community. So, Jessica.
Noah, Akitadu, Mani, Vidadu, Skitix, Akitaku, Skiti, Chawi, Kikahaki, Pitahawirata. Hi everyone, I'm Jessica, Leading Fox. So I'm the Southern Plains representative for NISPA. I moved back to Pawnee, Oklahoma during like the beginning of the pandemic. And so we have been, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So I'm a part of the Pawnee Seed Preservation Project, and in 2012, I was encouraged to sign up or apply for the internship for the seed project, which was a new project back then. I didn't know anything about gardening or seeds or soil health or land stewardship. And so that internship was in my tribe's ancestral homeland in Nebraska. And we were there for about like 8 weeks during the summer. And that was just like a real special time for me. It was like really kind of like life-changing. And and we went up there and we met like a bunch of agriculture people in Nebraska who were willing to teach us different, just different things about soil health and seeds and all of that. And so like one thing for me with the seed project, with like the mission and the mentors that I've had is like building and maintaining relationships is like important. And that's been important for me on all levels, whether that's networking, meeting new people, staying in contact with them, and like you just like never know what projects are going to be, like what opportunities those are, and like what expertise you're going to need to reach out for like in your network. And then I kind of found myself, so I've been like 8 years now with the seed project, and now like currently now being home, I've kind of come like full circle now where I'm not like being taught anymore. I'm the one that's like doing the teaching and like mentoring. And like it's really important for me now, since I've learned, I don't know everything, but like I learned, and it's important for me to keep the cultural integrity when we're planting like the corn or the beans or anything, and to teach those like the teachings, like why we do certain things in the gardens, and like why we put tobacco down or have to be in a good headspace. You can go ahead and go. So during this pandemic, the Pawnee, we have 3 like community gardens. The Pawnee-O Garden, which is at the tribal college, Pawnee Nation College. That is with OSU Extension with Oklahoma State, and they are growing. They have a greenhouse, and they extended their garden, and they grow like Pawnee seeds, and they also grow tomatoes and like okra. They just grow everything. And that is ran by AmeriCorps Vista Associates. And in the past, last summer I worked there as an associate, and in the past they took us to like master gardening classes, which was like kind of a lot of fun, I thought. And it gives us like a lot of knowledge, and that knowledge can be taken back, back home, and like we can like better our seeds and our soil health and learn all of that. And then the second one is the Cultural Resource Division Garden, which was, they took that over for the Elders Center, and they're growing a rare variety of corn of the Pawnee, which is called eagle corn. And they're growing like beans, pumpkins, sunflowers, and squash over there. And actually last week, or this past week, they harvested the eagle corn, and they estimated it would be able to feed for 2 hand games, which I think that's pretty cool. CRD, they are in the same building as my current job, so it was pretty cool to go downstairs and go look at the corn and inspect or whatever. So it was really cool to see. And then the picture on the slide is in my neighborhood where I grew up at, the Moe's Yellow Horse Drive plot. So this was really cool and special to me, and the coordinator for this, because we both grew up in the neighborhood. And last summer we both were working as Vista associates in the Ponyo Garden, and we were talking about how come we don't have community gardens, because Moe's Yellow Horse Drive is a predominantly native neighborhood, and Pawnee is all about, we're known as corn people. And so we just had that conversation. And then I came home, and she reached out to me and told me that they are getting the works done to have the Yellow Horse Garden, which was pretty cool. It's been pretty amazing to drive by every day and see it being constructed. And then, so it's kind of been a boom, I think, in the community during this pandemic for local growers and gardeners requesting seeds from the Seed Project. Right now, we are trying to bring back Pawnee sweet corn, eagle corn, and blue corn. And we have about 16 growers, and it's been really cool to see on social media, they're them learning and asking questions, and it's just been really amazing to see families come together and want to learn. And then we have 14 growers in our ancestral homelands in Nebraska, and then we have one grower in Fort Berthold, our sister tribe in the Rick Ross. You can go. So my takeaway from all of this is when I first started out, I didn't know anything about gardening. I didn't know anything about networking. I was really young too when I first started out, and I didn't know anything about intertribal agriculture or IAC until last summer, when I was posting a lot on social media. And then I heard about IAC through a friend of mine from high school who had been serving on the NIFSA board. And so I really think that networking and keeping those contacts is really important, and to always be willing to learn and ask questions. Don't ever be scared to ask questions, and just put yourself out there, take initiative. So that's all that I have.
Thank you, Jessica. And we're gonna move on to, oh, I forgot to mention in the beginning that if you guys have any questions, you can drop it into the chat box and we can answer it at the end. But yeah, with that being said, Mackenzie.
Okay, like to start by saying thanks again to Azalea for having me today. Super happy to be here. So I'm a native of Northwest Louisiana. I come from Choctaw and Apache tribal descent, and my agricultural background is really rooted in FFA and 4-H involvement. I don't come from a family farming operation. So I showed livestock, competed in a lot of shooting sports competitions, and I also engaged in all the agricultural-based leadership development events that are offered through FFA and 4-H. So through these youth organizations, I was eventually led to IAC youth programming, where I've served as a regional summit youth participant, a youth leader, an essay contest winner, and I'm also on the youth board. So I carried my passion for agriculture into college as I pursued my undergrad degree in agricultural science with a concentration in animal science. So I'm freshly graduated. I graduated about 2 weeks ago, and I haven't even got my degree in the mail yet. But I'm looking forward to pursuing some graduate studies and just a really good career in agriculture. Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about my undergrad education. So I went to McNeese State University. It's right down there on the southwest part of Louisiana in Lake Charles. For me, something that I always enjoyed about agriculture was the hands-on part of it. And my degree program in school really stressed experiential learning. So I had really supportive professors, and it was just an overall great experience, especially as I decided to spend last spring semester in DC, and I finished my summer classes online. So they were just really supportive and really helped me be flexible in finishing my degree. Like I said, I have a Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Science, and my concentration was Animal Science. At McNeese, you have the option to concentrate in a few different things, but like I said, I enjoy the hands-on learning and things that came with Animal Science, so that's what I went with. I was also, in my 3 years at McNeese, pretty involved in some different extracurricular things. So I was a volunteer with Ducks Unlimited. For anyone that's not familiar, it's a nonprofit organization that raises money that's put back into habitat restoration and a lot of just waterfowl management things. So I also spent a semester on the livestock judging team, such a great experience. And I also was a volunteer with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I volunteered for about 8 months at the Cameron Prairie National Wildlife Refuge, where I got to learn really how a national wildlife refuge operates and just the things they're doing to manage the land down there in southwest Louisiana on the marsh. So just a really great undergrad experience. So I'm also going to talk about all of my professional development through IAC, and IAC has really provided me with such a good realm of opportunities. So one of the first internships I did with IAC was a 2018 Farm Bill internship. That was kind of in preparation for the 2017 annual meeting. So I did that in the fall and winter of 2017, my first semester of college. So that was really interesting. I gathered numbers and different data on USDA spending that eventually was used in the efforts of the Native Farm Bill Coalition. So moving on from that, I was also a research assistant for the Indigenous Food and Agriculture Initiative. I looked into a lot of different curriculums involving Native beginning farmer and ranchers. Was really happy to be involved in that project, and I'm looking forward to seeing an end product for it. So I was also the leadership intern for the Indigenous Food and Agriculture Initiative. 1 year or two, I really helped with the kind of some different management stuff going towards the Native Youth Food Sovereignty Summit that's held each year at the University of Arkansas during the summer. So I was really excited to be able to just kind of help and assist in whatever way I could with that, being that I had been a youth participant and youth leader and stuff during the previous year. So really glad that I got to take on a little bit more responsibility as the leadership intern. I think it would be April 2019 to December 2019, so a little bit more recently. I was the communications intern with Intertribal Agriculture Council and National Farm to School Network when they were partners of the year. So that was just another really great experience working with National Farm to School Network. I was really happy that the leadership at National Farm to School Network really looked to me for kind of giving their organization a stronger voice in Native communities. So one of the big things that I helped do was I helped create the social media campaign with the Farm to School champions. So all the Native Farm to School champions from each of the 12 IAC regions, they were actually flown out to the annual meeting in last December, and they were awarded for all the really great farm to school work that's going on in Indian country. So I was super excited to be part of that work. Farm to school is something that I really enjoy. So this past spring, from January to April, I spent my last semester in Washington, D.C., working for the House of Representatives for the Committee on Agriculture. So Representative Colin Peterson of Minnesota's 7th District, the chairman of the committee, was my boss, essentially. And during that time when I was in D.C., I was super happy to have the support of the Native American Agriculture Fund as a fellow for them. So interning in D.C., such a great experience. Was really glad that I did it. Would not have been able to do it without all of the other professional development things that I did leading up to this, thanks to IAC. So this past summer, I was a communications intern for a Native American Agriculture Fund, another really great experience. And I'm also on the NIFSA board. I started off as the Western Region board rep, and then I eventually moved over to the Eastern Region, which is where I'm from. And I also serve as the vice president. So super excited for the things that NIFSA is doing. So moving forward, in my personal life, I'm really just exploring different educational and employment opportunities. Right now, I'm kind of taking the time to step back and reflect on all of the really great experiences that I mentioned earlier. Like I said, just a lot of really good opportunities thanks to IAC and all the other really great organizations that promote youth involvement in agriculture. So right now, just kind of taking some time and exploring different opportunities. My takeaway message to youth: you are way more capable than you might think. Also, relationships. It's so important to build and maintain those relationships because they really and truly make a difference in a lot of cases. And just as cheesy as it sounds, you definitely miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Like, don't say no. I don't know, like, where my path would have led me if I would have said no to any of the things I talked about in my earlier slide with professional development. So I used the picture right there on the right of the screen. That was me about 3 years ago at Louisiana State FFA Convention. Looking back to where I was 3 years ago, like, if you would have told me that I did all of this and had all those opportunities and just a lot of really great things, I wouldn't have believed you. So definitely, don't say no. Take everything as a learning opportunity, because that's definitely what it is above all things.
Awesome. Thank you, Mackenzie. I think that was definitely my motto going through programming as well, is don't say no. So I agree. And with that, we'll move on to Chateau.
Hi again. I am Chateau Pierman. I'm the daughter of Kat Pierman and Nikki White Eyes Lakota from the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation. I've been involved with agriculture pretty much my whole life. I grew up on a multi-generational ranch. I'm not down there as much as I'd like to be, but I try to be down there as much as I can. I just recently graduated with my bachelor's in ag business and then with a minor in banking and financial services from South Dakota State University. I plan to continue my education and get my master's from Montana State University. In high school, my love for agriculture really changed when I was in high school. When I got to that point where you needed to need to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life, which is a hard subject to like figure out. I wanted to go to school, be in the medical field. I really had my like heart set on being a radiologist technologist or radiology technologist, and that changed. I did an internship with the Intertribal Ag Council in 2013, I believe, which would have been my freshman year of high school. I was able to choose like which business or organization in town that I wanted to do an internship for, and the one that I didn't hear much about was IAC. So I took a jump and did my internship with them, and it opened so many new doors for me. I was able to attend their annual conference in December. This year would have been my 6th year attending, but I'll still be attending, but it's gonna be on our virtual this year. And then I had opportunity to do the Ag Summit in Arkansas, and that's like where things really changed for me, having all these different like relationships. You're gonna hear that a lot, is like getting those relationships and keeping them, because that's so important. I always remember like when everybody was speaking, they were like, find your access points. Like an access point, you're always gonna have that. Like you can always lean to that for like anything that you needed, or if you needed advice, or if you needed somebody to go over a resume. I found those people, and by doing the Ag Summit, by doing the IAC annual conference, I've always had like people in my corner. So I've been doing that. I did that all the way through high school. I was really involved in FFA. I did livestock judging, and then that was one of the main things that I did in FFA. But I also helped with like our annual greenhouse that we did, and so I really just kept developing my like love for ag as I grew, and then that eventually changed into like what I went to college for. So you can go to the next slide. I'll talk more about college in a little bit, but so while I was in high school, I started the Just Breathe Suicide Awareness Campaign. It's a nonprofit that I've been like really diligent, and I put a lot of my passion into. Because when I was in high school, I was affected twice within a 11-month span by suicide, to people that were really close to me. That took a toll on like everything that I was doing. Like the pain that I was feeling, I didn't want other people to go through that. And so a big part of me starting Just Breathe was to help others. I donate to local schools. I raise funds to donate to local schools to help in suicide awareness and prevention activities. I've helped with assemblies. I've given out 5 different scholarships from my nonprofit. This year will be I've done 5 years of scholarships. I've given out 8 actual scholarships. Just Breathe was derived from emotions and like how people feel when they're going through this, or when they're contemplating suicide. And I just want to help others that were like struggling. And one of the big mottos for Just Breathe is our life goes on, just breathe, be brave, and dare to inspire, and always believe in yourself. Believing in yourself is the biggest key, and I hope to instill that in others, just because it's such a big thing. And if one of my like goals for this would be, if I could help another person that's going through, if I could save one life with my campaign, my mission would be complete for this. And I always fall back to like ending like with talking about Just Breathe, that it's time to step up, so nobody feels like they have to step out. And just by reaching out, lending a hand, or just letting people know that you're there, that could change the difference in somebody's life. Next slide. Okay, so now we are in college, or I'm in college. I went to South Dakota State University to get my undergrad, or for my undergrad. I got my degree in ag business and banking and financial services. I really wanted to be like in the ag industry, but with more of the financial like side of things. Numbers have always clicked for me, and I just feel like I'm more of like a business kind of person rather than like looking at the science aspect of everything. While at SDSU my sophomore and my junior year, I was one of 5 selected to complete a 2-summer research fellowship under the Future Agriculture and Science Task Force Research and Extension Experiences for undergraduates. This fellowship gave Native American and economically challenged students the opportunity to like explore research, because they like research is like so important. I feel like everybody should have that kind of experience while in school, but more on like an in-depth level where you get to like focus on something. For my first summer, during this internship or this fellowship, I worked in a lab for 10 weeks, and I helped configure like what chemicals would help the like nature of dent corn grow better. And that was something that was totally new to me. I haven't ever gotten that like in depth into like breaking down the seeds. And then like I thought it was such a cool opportunity, and I feel like everybody should do that. But the second summer we were able to choose an organization to work for, or a company, and I chose to come home and work for Occupton, which is a Native CDFI, or Native Community Development Financial Institution, because that's what I really went to school for. So I wanted to learn more about like the loan process, and Skyo is a really good like mentor for me. She still is. I work for her right now as an intern, just because I know like what's going on, and it was easy like for me to get in there and like learn more. So I was really excited that I was able to do that for 10 weeks too, and grow my understanding of like the financial industry and like the loan process. And I thought that was really neat. Also, while at SDSU, I took a course called Agriculture Policy. And through the whole course, I was just waiting for like some kind of like them to talk about like native ag, but they never did. So anytime we had to do a research opportunity, or we always had to do like policy briefs and stuff, I would choose all of mine to be on like native ag policy. And after the course was complete, the professor of that course came up to me and asked me if I could write native agriculture into this policy class, so that he could be more or so that he can incorporate more and actually have an understanding. He told me that he's like, I wanted to teach it, but I never did, because I didn't want to put the wrong facts out. And I appreciated that he said that, because like nowadays somebody could tell you something and you'll believe it because that's what you know. And so I was really excited that I had the opportunity to help write that into the policy course. So now each semester that he teaches it, there's a section on native agriculture, and he teaches it. So I thought that was really cool, and getting like the Native community and Indian agriculture back into the like people, so people could know that. So you can go to the next slide, Zay. So present day, I will start towards my master's at Montana State University this fall. Montana State is located in Bozeman, Montana. I really had a like change in like past, just like the past 3 weeks. When I first started going, or when I first applied to Montana State, I was going to school to get my Master of Public Administration. But that turned, and now I'm still going to Montana State, but I'm getting my Master of Science in Ag Education with Communication and Leadership. So my heart has always kind of like lied within like ag education, and I just thought going with an MPA was going to be like my better decision. But in all honesty, you got to do what you got to do what your heart wants. Otherwise, it's not going to be any fun. So while I'm going to school, I'll continue working for IAC as a part-time intern, and then I will continue my role serving as a board member on NIFSA. Otherwise, one of the big things that I want to like really like tell you guys, and that's what Mackenzie and Jessica did too, is like build your relationships, keep them. Like that's something that's going to get you further than anything, because establishing those connections are what going to get you further in life. I have the support system I have behind me wouldn't be as big as it is right now if I didn't, like Mackenzie said, don't say no. If I would have said no, I wouldn't have the people behind me backing me along the way, or have people that I could just go to. I could call Azalea at 8:00 at night with a question and she'll answer. I could call Mackenzie, they'll answer and give me their honest opinion of how things should go. Like that, establishing those connections are ideal and important to like anybody's success, I think. But other than that, that's all I had. But Courtney put a question in the chat box. So somebody asked, how can we get involved with Just Breathe or ever just donate? I have a Facebook page. You can do the @Just Breathe campaign. I do have, starting out, it was just me and my mom ever doing anything, but right now I do have quite a bit of ambassadors that help within like my community and the surrounding communities. If you want to get involved with Just Breathe or even donate, there's a page on Facebook that you can do that. And then if you send a message with asking how to get involved, we'll go through and then like get you set up to be an ambassador for Just Breathe. So if that answers your question. But I am done today, Azalea.
Awesome. Thank you, Chateau. So yeah, I just want to thank all of our panelists for participating today. I think it was great to see everything that you guys are doing within your communities and really highlight how resilient youth are in agriculture, especially during this pandemic. I also want to thank everybody for watching and partaking in the webinar today. I don't know if there's any more questions in the chat box. Oh, okay. Just breathe. So yeah, I put all of our contact information right here. You can also find my contact information on the IAC website for more information on youth programming or different agriculture youth opportunities. And I also put these amazing youth emails. So if you have any questions about anything that they're doing, or if you want to learn more about the different opportunities that they followed through to get them where they are today. Please feel free to reach out to them or me. So yeah. I don't- okay. Yeah, so there's no more questions. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.